there, it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the UK. Thank you for joining me again today, and it's another Inspire.Create.Challenge day. And today we have a sketch. It's a really simple sketch. It is just a circle with a line. So it's kind of border. So I'm using the burlap ribbon as my line and a stitched shape as my circle. All the information about Inspire.Create.Challenge, links to that, the sketch and all that sort of good stuff is on my website, which is linked immediately below in the description bar, as are all the products that I have used. So if you're in the UK and you would like to buy from me, which I would be thrilled if you would, that's where you get the information. So we are using Verdant Garden, Garden Lane designer series paper, which is gorgeous and great for so many projects. Let me just give you a quick flip through this. It's sort of a subset of the Magnolia Lane suite. So it has got some magnolia-y type images. So these are small magnolias. These are magnolias. So there is a kind of a bit of an overlap. But I've picked one of the papers that I think goes really nicely with the Wildly Happy and the fox, because I'm thinking of this as a fox with its cub in the undergrowth. That's my kind of where I'm coming from. I'm using soft sea foam and Pear Pizzazz card for the backing. This was the other way round. I like to see what difference each of them make. Now, when I coloured this version, I used Cajun Craze as the ink colour, and I'm not convinced it was right. So this time I'm going to use good old Memento Tuxedo Black, and it would be great if you told me which one you prefer. You can use the classic inks with alcohol pens because they are water-based inks with an alcohol-based pen, so it does work. You do need to make sure that they are fully dry. But other than that, this is the largest of the stitched shape circles. And as I say, using Memento Tuxedo Black for the image. I'm going to start putting my card together purely because I want that to be dry before I start attacking it with alcohol markers, because if it's not completely dry, you will smudge it. So I've got a half sheet of A4 cardstock, so A5, folded in half to make an A6 base. Soft sea foam in card is 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. Don't worry about all the dimensions because they will be on my website, which, as I say, is linked below. And then the designer series paper, that's dead. The designer series paper is 5 1/2, so's that. I've been trying to keep my glue for as long as possible. So the designer series paper is 5 1/2 by 3 3/4. So it's just an 1/8 of an inch smaller all round. So that's my soft sea foam. You may want to put a liner in Pear Pizzazz. I don't think you need to for soft sea foam. I don't think it's too dark to write on, but it's personal choice. And as I've said before, unless I particularly want a specific sentiment inside, I tend not to stick my liners in until I've written them, so that when I inevitably make a mistake, all I have to do is replace the piece of card without having to rip it out of the card base. I've got a piece of burlap ribbon which I've just cut so it's flagged at both ends. You can put it either way up. I'm deliberately going to do it the opposite way from the way that I did the first one, because again, I just want to see what the difference is. I'm using some tear and tape to adhere that down initially, and then there will be some dimensionals, that's the word I'm looking for. So that is our base ready to go. I've got some scraps of paper just to protect my work surface. I'm using not too many blends. I've got both of the Cajun Craze, the dark pumpkin pie, light grey granite, dark soft suede and light seafoam, light soft seafoam. So, as ever with blends, you want to put your lighter colours down first. If I bring this in, I have actually done a mix for the mother. So, whilst she is predominantly light Cajun Craze, I have actually come in with some dark pumpkin pie as well, because I felt that the pumpkin pie was too orange and the Cajun Craze was not orange enough. So I've mixed them, and that's one of the joys of blends, is that you can. So I'm putting my Cajun Craze down first, and this is light Cajun Craze. And just make sure I come all the way to the edge. So colour that in. And then her head. Now, I'm leaving the lower part of her muzzle light. It will be coloured, but it's light for the moment. So I'm going to leave it white. So just come in and fill in most of her face, up round the points of her ears. And I have to say, what I found interesting, having moved from the city to the countryside, see far fewer foxes. Dark Cajun Craze, just to add some shadow. Yeah, we used to have a lot of urban foxes where we lived in West London. Hardly ever see a fox in the country. And the ones that we do see are significantly healthier than the ones we used to see in West London, which is hardly a surprise. So anywhere where there is a shadow, I'm just adding some dark Cajun Craze. It's fairly sort of arbitrary as to exactly where I'm going, but you know, just add some. And then I'm coming in with the pumpkin pie, and this is dark pumpkin pie. And I'm also going to go over our little fox cub. And again, I'm going to leave the insides of its ears pale and then cover the rest of it. And then we will be doing some shading with that. But this is the dark colour, sorry, the main colour for our fox cub. And then just adding the pumpkin pie over the fox mother, it just brings that nice orangey tone. Now I'm rushing because I know there is nothing more boring than watching someone colour, particularly when it's just going over an existing colour. So I am rushing a bit. So I have made a couple of mistakes, but you know, hey ho. And then I'm coming in with the other end, with the light Cajun Craze to just add some shadow for our cub. So again, anywhere where there is shadow, I'm just coming in, or anywhere where you feel there should be shadow. And that blends really nicely into the pumpkin pie. Then light grey granite, pretty much anywhere which we've left white. Now I have made a bit of a boo-boo there, but if you add more blend, you can erase some of your mistakes, and then if you've got the colour lifter, that will finally take it off. What the colour lifter actually does, and this has to an extent, can't really see it, is it doesn't actually lift the colour, it pushes it back. So if you are using the colour lifter, do make sure that you've got your surface well covered underneath, because otherwise it will push colour and alcohol into the into whatever you've got underneath. And if that's your best dining table, which you have recently had French polished, probably not the best idea. Dark soft suede for our noses. And then all we need to do is put in our background, because I felt that that was just too stark white on the onto there, just too white. So all I've done is I've got an imaginary line coming across, and you can have your imaginary line pretty much wherever you want it, and then just colour with the grey granite beneath and light soft sea foam on top. That easy. And you do want to be reasonably quick doing it, so that it blends nicely. I mean, it will blend anyway, but you want, if you layer the colour up, you do get depth of colour. So the more layers you put on, the darker the colour becomes. So you don't want to go over the same spot too many times, particularly if it has dried. Just rub that mark out. Okay, and then come in with the brush tip end and just simply fill in your gaps. And then we are pretty much done. So as I say, a really simple sketch this time. It pretty much is, the world is your oyster on how you would like to interpret it. There are some amazing designs that the team have come up with. I haven't seen all of them at the point of filming this, but I've seen most of them, and there are some really interesting ways of interpreting the design. So yeah. Right, okay, I need dimensionals, preferably white, there we are, because I now have black dimensionals as well. If you saw my Freaky Friday, you will have seen me use black dimensionals. I'm just going to add a few either side of the burlap because it helps keep the burlap in place. And then top and bottom, and that's pretty much going to be all I need. Don't put dimensional where there's going to be the burlap, because the burlap adds quite a lot of bulk on its own. It's almost as fat as the dimensionals, so if you put dimensional on top, you're going to get quite a lot of thickness, and then if you've got it dimensional on top and then not on top, it's going to be uneven. So do just bear that in mind. And then just pop your, and don't layer your dimensionals up when you pop your, which is, no, it's all right, I missed it. I thought I'd layered them on top and I haven't. Okay, so there we are. So which do you prefer, the one with the Cajun craze or the one with the base, with the tuxedo black? I know which one I prefer, but that's my personal choice, so it would be great to know what you prefer. Thank you very much indeed for watching. If you enjoyed that, please give it a thumbs up, and do, if you don't already, please hit the subscribe button. When I get to 7,000 subscribers, we will be doing a craft room tour, which I know everyone always finds it interesting. So the sooner we get there, the better. We're at about 6,900 at the moment, so very close. So it'd be great to get there. If you would like to purchase any of these items, as I say, they're linked below, and also my online stores. Do remember to use the host code, and don't forget that we do still have the extra promotion if you would like to join my team and you're in any of the 5 European countries that deal with Stampin' Up. That would be fantastic. We do cover Europe, so don't just think if you're in France, Germany, Austria or the Netherlands that you can't join my team. You would be very welcome. Thank you very much indeed, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!